I was flunking out of college. I had a 1.7 grade point average. I hope none of you can relate. I had a 1.7 grade point average. I was sitting in my mother's beauty shop. They still call it beauty shop now? What they call it now? Yeah, I was sitting in the beauty parlor. I was sitting in my mother's beauty parlor, and I'm looking in the mirror, and I see behind me this woman under the dryer. And every time she looked up, every time I looked up, she was looking at me. She was looking me in the eye. And I didn't know who she was, and I said, she said, somebody give me a pen. Give me a pencil. I have a prophecy. March 27, 1975. She said, boy, you are going to travel the world and speak to millions of people. Now, mind you, I was flunked out of college. I'm thinking about joining the army. I didn't know what I was going to do. And she's telling me I'm going to travel the world and speak to millions of people. Well, I have traveled the world. And I have spoke to millions of people. But that's not the most important thing, the success that I had. The most important thing is that what she taught me and what she told me that day has stayed with me since. I've been protected. I've been directed. I've been corrected. Fail big. That's right. Fail big. You only live once. So do what you feel passionate about. Take chances professionally. Don't be afraid to fail. There's an old IQ test, was 9 dots, and you had to draw 5 lines with a pencil within these 9 dots without lifting the pencil. The only way to do it was to go outside the box. So don't be afraid to go outside the box. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. Don't be afraid to fail big, to dream big. But remember, dreams without goals are just dreams, and they ultimately fuel disappointment. So have dreams, but have goals. Life goals, yearly goals, monthly goals, daily goals. I try to give myself a goal every day. And understand that to achieve these goals, you must apply discipline and consistency. You have to work at it every day. You have to plan every day. You've heard the saying, we don't plan to fail, we fail to plan. Hard work works. Working really hard is what successful people do. And in this text, tweet, twerk world that you've grown up in, remember, just because you're doing a lot more doesn't mean you're getting a lot more done. Remember that. Just because you're doing a lot more doesn't mean you're getting a lot more done. Don't confuse movement with progress. My mother told me, she said, yeah, because you can run in place all the time and never get anywhere. So continue to strive, continue to have goals, continue to progress. And anything you want good, you can have. So claim it. Work hard to get it. When you get it, reach back. Pull someone else up. Each one, teach one. Don't just aspire to make a living. Aspire to make a difference. So I was back to square one, feeling the pressure. So now you're probably thinking, if it was going to be this difficult, this much pressure, why did I even accept today's invitation in the first place? Well, my son goes here, that's number one. That's a good reason. And I always like to check to see how my money's being spent. And I'm sure there's some parents out there who can relate to what I'm talking about. Yeah. To everybody upstairs. And there were some other good reasons for me to show up. Sure, I got an Academy Award, but I never had something called a magic meatball after waiting in line for half an hour at the food truck. Yeah. Yes, I talked face to face with President Obama, but I never talked face to face with a guy named Queter who sings bad songs over at Smokes on Tuesday night. I never been to Buies. I never been to Hemos. Yes, I have played a detective who battles demons, but I've never been to a school in my life where the squirrel population has gone bananas. I mean, they're breaking in the dorm rooms, they're walking around campus. I think I saw some carrying books on their way to class. So I had to be here. I had to come. Even though I was afraid I might make a fool of myself. In fact, if you really want to know the truth, I had to come exactly because I might make a fool of myself. Now, what am I talking about? Here it is. I found that nothing in life is worthwhile unless you take risks. Nothing. Nelson Mandela said, "There is no passion to be found playing small and settling for a life that's less than the one you're capable of living." Now, I'm sure in your experiences in school and applying to college and picking your major and deciding what you want to do with life, I'm sure people have told you to make sure you have something to fall back on. Make sure you got something to fall back on, honey. But I never understood that concept, having something to fall back on. If I'm going to fall, I don't want to fall back on anything except my faith. I want to fall forward. I figure at least this way I'll see what I'm going to hit. Fall forward. This is what I mean. Reggie Jackson struck out 2,600 times in his career, the most in the history of baseball. But you don't hear about the strikeouts. People remember the home runs. Fall forward. Thomas Edison conducted 1,000 failed experiments. Did you know that? I didn't know that. Because the 1,001st was the light bulb. Fall forward. Every failed experiment is one step closer to success. You've got to take risks, and I'm sure you've probably heard that before, but I want to talk to you about why that's so important. I got 3 reasons, and you can pick up your iPhones. First, you will fail at some point in your life. Accept it. You will lose. You will embarrass yourself. You will suck at something. There's no doubt about it. Now, I know that's probably not a traditional message for a graduation ceremony, but hey, I'm telling you, embrace it, because it's inevitable. And I should know. In the acting business, you fail all the time. Early on in my career, I auditioned for a part in a Broadway musical. Perfect role for me, I thought, except for the fact that I can't sing. So I'm in the wings, I'm about to go on stage, but the guy in front of me, he's singing like Pavarotti. He's just going on and on and on, and I'm just shrinking. I'm getting smaller and smaller. So they say, "Oh, thank you very much, and you'll be hearing from us." So I come out with my little sheet music, and it was Just My Imagination by The Temptations. That's what I came up with. So I hand it to the accompanist, and she looks at it and looks at me and looks out at the director and is like, all right. So I start, I'm going to sing. I'm like, it's just my imagination once again, and then coming away with me. And they're not saying anything, so I'm thinking I'm getting better. So I could start getting into it. It was just my imagination. Running. They say, "Oh, yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Washington. Thank you." So I assumed I didn't get the job. But the next part of the audition, he called me back. The next part of the audition is the acting part of the audition. So I'm like, hey, okay, maybe I can't sing, but I know I can act. So they pair me with this guy, and again, I didn't know about musical theater. And musical theater is big, so they can reach everyone all the way in the back of the stadium. And I'm more from a realistic, naturalistic kind of acting where you actually talk to the person next to you. So I don't know what my line was. My line was, well, hand me the cup. And his line was, well, I will hand you the cup, my dear. The cup will be there to be handed to you. I said, oh, okay. Well, should I give you the cup back? Oh, yes, you should give it back to me because you know that is my cup and it should be given back to me. I didn't get the job. But here's the thing. I didn't quit. I didn't fall back. I walked out of there to prepare for the next audition, and the next audition, and the next audition. I prayed. I prayed. And I prayed. But I continued to fail, and fail, and fail. But it didn't matter because you know what? There's an old saying, you hang around the barbershop long enough, sooner or later you're going to get a haircut. So you will catch a break. And I did catch a break. Last year, I did a play called Fences on Broadway. Someone talked about it. Won the Tony Award. And I didn't have to sing, by the way. But here's the kicker. It was at the Court Theater. It was at the same theater that I failed that first audition 30 years prior. The point is, and I'll pick up the pace, the point is every graduate here today has the training and the talent to succeed. But do you have the guts to fail? Here's my second point about failure. If you don't fail, you're not even trying. I'll say it again. If you don't fail, you're not even trying. My wife told me this great expression. To get something you never had, you have to do something you never did. Les Brown's a motivational speaker. He made an analogy about this. He says, imagine you're on your deathbed, and standing around your deathbed are the ghosts representing your unfulfilled potential. The ghost of the ideas you never acted on. The ghost of the talents you didn't use. And they're standing around your bed, angry, disappointed, and upset. They say, we came to you because you could have brought us to life, they say. And now we have to go to the grave together. So I ask you today, how many ghosts are going to be around your bed when your time comes? You've invested a lot in your education, and people have invested in you. And let me tell you, the world needs your talents, man, does it ever. I just got back from Africa like 2 days ago, so if I'm rambling on, it's because I'm jet lagged. I just got back from South Africa. It's a beautiful country, but there are places there with terrible poverty that need help. And Africa is just the tip of the iceberg. The Middle East needs your help. Japan needs your help. Alabama needs your help. Tennessee needs your help. Louisiana needs your help. Philadelphia needs your help. The world needs a lot, and we need it from you. We really do. We need it from you young people. I mean, I'm not speaking for the rest of us up here, but I know I'm getting a little grayer. We need it from you, the young people, because remember this. So you got to get out there. You got to give it everything you got, whether it's your time, your talent, your prayers, or your treasures. Because remember this. You will never see a U-Haul behind a hearse. I'll say it again. You will never see a U-Haul behind a hearse. You can't take it with you. The Egyptians tried it, and all they got was robbed. So the question is, what are you going to do with what you have? I'm not talking about how much you have. Some of you are business majors. Some of you are theologians, nurses, sociologists. Some of you have money. Some of you have patience. Some of you have kindness. Some of you have love.
Some of you have the gift of long suffering, whatever it is, whatever your gift is. What are you going to do with what you have? All right, now here's my last point about failure. Sometimes it's the best way to figure out where you're going. Your life will never be a straight path. I began at Fordham University as a pre-med student. I took a course called cardiac morphogenesis. I still can't say it. Cardiac morphogenesis. I couldn't read it. I couldn't say it. I sure couldn't pass it. So then I decided to go into pre-law, then journalism. And with no academic focus, my grades took off in their own direction. Yeah, down. I was a 1.8 GPA one semester, and the university very politely suggested that it might be better to take some time off. I was 20 years old. I was at my lowest point. And then one day, and I remember the exact day, March 27th, 1975, I was helping my mother in her beauty shop. My mother owned a beauty shop up in Mount Vernon. And there was this older woman who was considered one of the elders in the town. And I didn't know her personally, but I was looking in the mirror, and every time I looked at the mirror, I could see her behind me, and she was staring at me. She just kept looking at me. Every time I looked at her, she kept giving me these strange looks. So she finally took the dryer off her head and she said something I'll never forget. First of all, she said, "Somebody give me a piece of paper. Give me a piece of paper." She said, "Young boy, I have a prophecy, a spiritual prophecy." She said, "You are going to travel the world and speak to millions of people." Now mind you, I'm 20 years old, I'm flunked out of school. In fact, like a wise ass, I'm thinking to myself, maybe she's got something in that crystal ball about me getting back into school next fall. But maybe she was on to something, because later that summer, while working as a counselor at the YMCA camp in Connecticut, we put on a talent show for the campers. And after the show, another counselor came up to me and asked, "Have you ever thought about acting? You're good at that." So when I got back to Fordham that fall, I got in and I changed my major once again for the last time. And in the years that followed, just as that woman prophesied, I have traveled the world and I have spoken to millions of people through my movies. Millions who up till this day couldn't see me, who up till this day I couldn't see while I was talking to them, and they couldn't see me, they could only see the movie. They couldn't see the real me. But I see you today, and I'm encouraged by what I see. And I'm strengthened by what I see. And I love what I see. One more page, and I'll shut up. Let me conclude with this one final point, and actually the president kind of brought it up. It has to do with the movie Philadelphia. She stole my material. Many years ago, I did this movie called Philadelphia. We filmed some of the scenes right here on campus. Philadelphia came out in 1993. Most of you were probably still in diapers. Some of the professors too. But that cracked me up. But it was a good movie. Rent it on Netflix. It's a good movie. Rent it. I get 23 cents every time you rent it. Please, rent it. Truth. Parents up there, rent it. Netflix, please. Tell your friends too. It's about a man played by Tom Hanks who's fired from his law firm because he has AIDS. He wants to sue the firm, but no one's willing to represent him until a homophobic ambulance chaser lawyer played by yours truly takes on the case. In a way, if you watch the movie, you'll see everything I'm talking about today. You'll see what I mean about taking risk or being willing to fail. Because taking risk is not just about going for a job. It's also about knowing what you know and what you don't know. It's about being open to people and to ideas. In the course of the film, the character I play begins to take small steps, small risks. He very, very, very slowly begins to overcome his fears. And I feel ultimately his heart becomes flooded with love. And I can't think of a better message as we send you off today. To not only take risks, but to be open to life, to accept new views, and to be open to new opinions, to be willing to speak at a commencement at one of the best universities in the country, even though you're scared stiff. While it may be frightening, it will also be rewarding. Because the chances you take, the people you meet, the people you love, the faith that you have, that's what's going to define you. So members of the class of 2011, this is your mission. When you leave the friendly confines of Philly, never be discouraged, never hold back, give everything you got. And when you fall throughout life, and maybe even tonight after a few many glasses of champagne, remember this: fall forward. I'm up here to say thank you to God for giving me this ability, for blessing me, for shaping me, for chastising me, for teaching me, for punishing me, for allowing me to be a vessel and touch people around the world. I want to thank AFI, Cicely Tyson, Ed Zwick, Spike Lee, Carl Franklin, Alan Neroff, my mother. She's 95 years old now. She's something else. She's tough. Everything ends in because I'm your mother, that's why. Shut up. Still, the other day, because I'm your mother, that's why. Shut up. To my father, who taught me by example how to be a gentle man, the most important person in my life. 40 years of sacrifice, 40 years of forgiveness. She taught me about faith, spirituality, love, real love, unwavering love, in spite of myself. I would not be alive without Pauletta Washington. I wouldn't be alive. Small minds discuss other people, gossip. Good minds discuss events. Great minds discuss ideas. I was Eleanor Roosevelt. I was also Pauletta's father, my father-in-law. He was a great man. He taught me so much about what being a man really is. I want to end the night with a short video that we recorded of Pauletta's father 30 years ago that my son, Malcolm, gave me, an AFI graduate. Just a short 30-second video, and this is what Pauletta's father had to say 30 years ago.
We were put here for a reason. God created man, and God intends for us to love all mankind. And by being in a loving mood, caring for one another, that's our purpose for life. We should care for one another, and we should love one another.
In this Twitter tweet, meme world that we've created for our children, the least we can do is consider what we've done and think about the young people, the future, and individually, collectively do the best we can to try and turn this thing around. I blame no one. I look in the mirror. On the other side of it, what an opportunity we have, because tomorrow's the first day of the rest of our lives. So what an opportunity we have to practice what he preached. Good night.
You ever seen a wolf hesitate in the forest because it's alone? Walks like it owns the place. Because it does. People will call you strange for moving different. They'll say, you're cold, too intense, too quiet, too focused. But what they don't understand is you're not built for the pack. Most people crave noise. They need the likes, the comments, the constant approval. But a lone wolf is too busy building muscle, mental, physical, and spiritual, in the silence. You don't walk alone because you're weak. You walk alone because you've outgrown the distractions. You're not searching for comfort, you're searching for clarity. And that kind of clarity only comes when you're alone. When you're sitting with your thoughts, facing your demons, sharpening your vision. So if you're walking alone right now, don't flinch. Don't fold. You're not lost. You're just early. The pack moves together, but the alpha is born in the wild. If you're the kind of person who walks your own path and fights in silence, hit that subscribe button. Drop a like to let the world know the lone wolves are still out here. Most people see being alone as a punishment. They feel lost when they're not surrounded by friends, family, or constant attention. But the ones who truly grow, the ones who rise, are the ones who learn how to survive and thrive in the wilderness. Not the physical kind, but the mental and emotional wilderness. That space where no one checks in on you, no one claps for you, no one even notices you. That's where warriors are built. Think about the lone wolf. It's not in the safety of the pack that it becomes strong. It's out there in the cold, in the silence, hunting for survival. Every step it takes is calculated, every move is sharp. There's no one to rely on, no one to lean on. It either becomes sharp or it dies dull. That's how life works when you decide to walk alone. See, the wilderness doesn't give you comfort, it gives you clarity. It strips away everything fake, everything shallow, and forces you to see who you really are. When you're out there with nothing but your thoughts and your drive, that's when the inner voice gets louder. That's when you realize you don't need the noise to feel strong. You just need direction. Most people want to skip this part. They want the reward without the isolation. They want strength without struggle. But strength comes from the struggle. Confidence comes from knowing you made it through the nights nobody else saw. You didn't post it. You didn't talk about it. You just kept going. That kind of power can't be bought or borrowed. It has to be built. And the only place you build that kind of power is in the wilderness. You start to develop discipline that no one taught you. You start keeping promises to yourself. You wake up when you say you will. You train when nobody's watching. You study, you build, you grind without needing a single ounce of validation. That's what the wilderness gives you. A version of yourself that's real, raw, and ready. So, the next time you feel like you're alone in the middle of nowhere, remember this. The wilderness isn't there to break you. It's there to build you. That's where warriors are born. That's why you become one. Most people are afraid of being alone. They see isolation as something negative, something to avoid. But the truth is, isolation is not your enemy. It's your weapon. When used right, it becomes your greatest advantage. Because in isolation, distractions disappear. You stop chasing approval. You stop worrying about who's watching. And you finally start focusing on what matters. You think about a lone wolf again. It's not crying about being alone. It's not looking around for someone to guide it. It's locked in, focused. Why? Because survival demands it. Growth demands it. That wolf doesn't waste time explaining itself to the pack. It moves in silence. It sharpens its instincts. And it gets stronger every single day alone. That's what isolation gives you. Clarity. You start to see where you've been wasting time. You notice how much energy you gave to people who didn't deserve it. You realize how much of your life was controlled by opinions, likes, and fake support. But in the silence, when it's just you all that noise fades, and for the first time you hear your real voice. Not the voice they gave you, yours. Most people never hear that voice because they're never quiet long enough. They always need something playing in the background. Music, social media, conversations, constant noise. But that's just a cover-up. Because the moment you're alone, you start facing truth. And truth isn't always comfortable, but it's necessary. See, isolation forces you to grow. It puts pressure on your mindset. There's no one to blame, no one to hold your hand. It's just you and your choices. That pressure, that's how diamonds are formed. That's how leaders rise. You stop asking for motivation because discipline takes over. You stop doubting your worth because you see how much you can survive on your own. People won't understand why you disappear. They'll say you've changed. They'll think something's wrong. But that's just because they don't know what it means to sharpen yourself in silence. They don't know isolation is where the shift happens, the transformation, the comeback. So don't fear being alone. Use it. Make it your weapon. Because while they're talking, you're training. While they're wasting time, you're becoming something unshakable. That's what isolation does. It turns you into a force they never saw coming. When you start walking alone, you begin to hear life differently. The loud voices around you, opinions, gossip, fake praise, useless criticism, they all start to sound the same. It becomes noise. And after a while, you realize, not worth listening to. You don't hate people. You don't think you're better than them. You've just outgrown the noise. See when you're chasing something real, something deep, something that matters. You stop caring about surface level conversation. You stop wasting energy proving yourself to people who wouldn't understand your vision even if you explained it 100 times. Why? Because they're not walking your path. They're standing on the sidelines talking, but you're moving. It's not ego. It's evolution. You stop needing validation. You stop needing to be liked. You start paying attention to your peace. You protect your energy like it's gold, because it is. And anyone who brings confusion, doubt, or drama, you cut them off quick, not with hate, but with wisdom. You've learned not every voice deserves your attention. The world loves noise. It rewards those who talk the loudest. But the real ones, the focused ones, the ones building something solid, they learn to walk in silence. They move without posting. They improve without announcing. They stay low and let the results do the talking. When you outgrow the noise, your circle gets smaller. Your days get simpler. But your vision, it gets sharper. You stop chasing crowds and start chasing character. You stop asking, what do they think of me? And start asking, what do I think of me? That's the shift. That's when you know you're growing. And here's the truth. Some people won't like the new you. They'll miss the old version of you. The one who needed them, who laughed at their small jokes, who stayed stuck in the same place with them. But you can't stay where you've outgrown. Growth requires movement. And movement makes noise uncomfortable. So if you find yourself losing interest in shallow conversations, losing patience with small minds, losing your need to impress people, you're not broken. You're just leveling up. You're not angry. You're just aware. You've outgrown the noise. Now you're walking with purpose. And that kind of walk doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to be real. When you start walking alone, something powerful happens. You begin to see things clearly. All the distractions that once pulled your focus start to fade away. The pressure to impress, the need to fit in, the fear of missing out. It all quiets down, and in that silence, your real vision begins to sharpen. You're no longer trying to keep up with what everyone else is doing. You're not looking side to side anymore. You're looking straight ahead. And that's what silence gives you. Focus. Pure, undiluted focus. And with that focus, your goals become clearer, your priorities shift, and your direction becomes locked in. Most people can't hear their own thoughts because they're buried under too much noise, constant notifications, useless conversations, opinions coming from every direction. But when you step into silence, when you choose to be alone, you get rid of all that. You finally get to ask yourself the hard questions. What do I want? Who am I becoming? What am I really here for? And the answers? They don't always come fast. Sometimes it takes days, weeks, or even months of quiet before things start clicking. But that's the beauty of it. In silence, you develop patience. You stop rushing. You stop comparing. You start building your own timeline, your own journey, your own pace. A lone wolf doesn't move with panic. It moves with precision. That's how you have to be. Every step intentional, every action meaningful. You're not wasting energy anymore. You're not spending your time proving yourself to people who don't matter. You're conserving your strength for what does matter. Silence also helps you recognize who's really for you. When you stop talking so much, you see who sticks around. When you stop showing up for everyone, you notice who disappears. And that's a gift. Because clarity isn't just about your goals, it's about your circle too. Who adds peace? Who causes confusion? The silence will show you. So if your life feels quiet right now, don't panic. That silence is not empty. It's full of answers. Let it sharpen you. Let it guide you. Because in the end, it's not the loud ones who make history. It's the ones who stayed focused when nobody was watching. People don't like to struggle. They don't like facing challenges, setbacks, or obstacles. In fact, most try to avoid them at all costs. But here's the truth. Strength doesn't come from comfort. It comes from the struggle, from the times when everything feels like it's against you, from the moments when you want to quit, but you choose to push through anyway. Think about a lone wolf. It doesn't grow stronger because it has it easy. It grows stronger because it faces the element alone. It battles the harsh winds, the cold nights, and the constant hunt for food. It doesn't get a break. It doesn't get sympathy. But with every challenge, it gets tougher. With every setback, it gets wiser. It doesn't run away from the struggle, it embraces it. That's the key to growth. You're not meant to avoid struggle. You're meant to face it head on. You're meant to use it as fuel to move forward. Life is going to throw obstacles at you. Guaranteed. People will doubt you. You'll face failure. You'll feel like you're running in circles sometimes. But those moments of struggle, they're your chance to level up. They're the tests that reveal what you're really made of. Struggle sharpens you. It forces you to dig deep, to find strength you didn't even know you had. When everything seems impossible, that's when you discover your true potential. That's when you learn what you're capable of. You stop relying on excuses and start relying on your own grit. You stop waiting for things to get easier and you start learning how to handle the hard stuff. The world will tell you to avoid pain. They'll tell you to take the easy road. But the easy road doesn't lead to greatness. It leads to mediocrity. True strength is built in the hardest moments. It's the sweat on your brow, the bruises on your soul, the times when you feel like quitting but choose to keep going anyway. That's where real power is found. So if you're in the middle of a struggle right now, don't back down, don't run away. Embrace it. Because that struggle is what's going to build you into the person you were meant to become. It's what's going to give you the strength to keep going when the rest of the world gives up. It's what will separate you from the pack. Most people spend their lives letting others tell them who they should be. They let their friends, family, society, or even strangers shape their identity. They let other people's opinions guide their decisions, their dreams, and their actions. But here's the truth. Nobody else has the right to define you but you. Think about a lone wolf again. It doesn't ask for permission to exist. It doesn't look for approval. It doesn't care what anyone thinks. It just is. It knows its worth, its purpose, and its path. It doesn't let other animals or the environment change its nature. It knows exactly who it is and doesn't need anyone else to confirm it. In the same way, you need to take full control over your own identity. You're not here to fit into someone else's mold. You're not here to live someone else's version of your life. The moment you let other people dictate who you are is the moment you lose your power. You hand over the steering wheel of your life to someone else, and they drive you wherever they want. But when you define yourself, when you decide who you are and what you stand for, you take your power back. You take full responsibility for your choices, your path, and your future. You no longer need to seek validation from others because your sense of self is solid. You stop looking for approval because you already know your worth. You become unstoppable. This doesn't mean you don't listen to feedback or constructive criticism. It means you don't let other people's judgments or opinions determine your self-worth. Their opinions are just that, opinions. Your truth is the only thing that matters. And when you build a strong sense of self, you protect yourself from being influenced by negativity or criticism. A lone wolf doesn't need a crowd to tell it it's strong. It knows it is. It doesn't wait for the pack to cheer it on. It keeps moving, trusting that it's on the right path, trusting its instincts. That's what you have to do. Trust yourself. Define who you are, not by what others say, but by what you know to be true. You are the author of your own story. Don't let anyone else write it for you. Take control of your life, your choices, and your identity. Define yourself. Now it's time for you to step into that path. To walk your path, even if you're walking it alone. You don't need anyone's approval. You don't need anyone to tell you how strong you are. You already know. So if you're ready to embrace your own journey, to become the lone wolf, and to define your own life, hit that subscribe button. Like this video if you're ready to move in silence, and let your actions speak louder than words. Remember, if you choose to walk alone, you're choosing to become the strongest version of yourself. Keep moving, keep building. The world will catch up to you. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a reason the strongest people in the world don't react to nonsense. A reason why the most successful minds don't get caught up in petty arguments, negativity, or distractions. They know something most people don't. Anger is a trap. Think about it. How many times have you let someone's words ruin your mood? How often has someone's negativity stolen your focus, drained your energy, or pulled you into a battle that didn't even matter? And for what? What did you gain? See, that's the trick. Every time you react, you lose. Every time you get angry, you hand over control. And once people know they can control you, they'll keep pushing your buttons. But what if you flipped the script? What if nothing could shake you? What if you became so untouchable, so locked in, that no one, not a stranger, not a hater, not even your worst enemy, could bother you? That's what this is about. Mastering your emotions, taking back your power, and becoming the kind of person that never gets angry or bothered, no matter what. Control is power. The first thing you need to understand is this: nobody can make you angry unless you let them. Nobody. They can insult you, disrespect you, doubt you, betray you, but they can't control your emotions. That's your job. That's your power. The moment you allow someone to trigger you, you hand them the keys to your mind. And let me tell you something, once they know they can control you, they won't stop. Think about it. Every time you react, every time you lash out, every time you get angry, what's really happening? You're dancing to their tune. You're playing their game. You're giving them free rent in your head. And for what? What do you get in return? Nothing. Nothing but wasted time, wasted energy, and wasted focus. You've seen it before. People who spend their lives fighting battles that don't matter, arguing over nonsense, defending themselves to people who don't care, letting small distractions pull them away from big goals. And then they wonder why they're tired, why they're stressed, why they're stuck. It's because they don't have control over themselves. They react to everything. But here's what most people don't understand. When you react, you lose. When you stay in control, you win. Let me put it like this. If someone walked up to you right now and called you a loser, would that make it true? No. If someone said you'll never be successful, would that stop you? No. But the second you let those words bother you, the second you let them get under your skin, now you've given them power. They've hijacked your emotions. They've taken your focus off your mission and put it on them. And let's be real, most people who try to bring you down are already below you. They're not climbing, they're not growing, they're not building. So the only way they feel better about themselves is if they can pull you down to their level. That's why they provoke you. That's why they test you, because they know that if they can get under your skin, they can control you. But the moment you stop reacting, the moment you stop taking the bait, you take back your power. Because control is power. And the person who controls their emotions controls everything. Master your emotions. Anger is just energy, that's all it is. Surge of emotion rushing through your body. But here's the thing, energy is neutral until you decide what to do with it. You can let it explode in frustration, arguments, and fights, or you can channel it into something productive. The choice is always yours. Look at the most successful people in the world. Do you think they never get angry? Of course they do. But they don't waste that energy on things that don't matter. They redirect it. They take every doubt, every insult, every failure, and they use it as fuel. They don't let anger control them. They control their anger. The problem is, most people have no control over their emotions. They let their feelings run them instead of the other way around. Something goes wrong and they explode. Someone disrespects them and they lose their cool. But here's what they don't realize. The more predictable you are, the weaker you are. If people know exactly how to push your buttons, you're not in control. They are. Think about it. Why do fighters in the ring stay calm? Because the second they start fighting emotionally, they start losing. They make mistakes. They leave openings. They waste energy. And life is no different. If every little thing can throw you off balance, you'll never get to where you want to be. But when you master your emotions, you become dangerous in the best way possible. You become unshakable. People will test you, but you won't react. They'll try to drag you into drama, but you won't engage. They'll throw negativity at you, but you'll keep moving forward. And that's when they start to fear you, because they realize they can't control you. Next time you feel anger rising up, stop and ask yourself, what can I do with this energy? Can you put it into your work? Can you use it to push harder, train harder, build faster? Can you turn it into motivation? Because the second you take control of that energy, you take control of yourself. Weak people waste their emotions. Strong people use them. And the moment you understand that, you step into a level of power most people will never reach. Detach from the noise. People will talk, they always do. They'll have opinions about your life, your choices, your success, your failures, everything. And most of the time, those opinions come from people who have no idea what it takes to be in your position. They don't know your struggles, your sacrifices, or your vision. But that won't stop them from talking. That's just what people do. The question is, why do you care? Why do you let their words affect you? Why do you let their negativity live in your mind rent-free? Most of the people criticizing you wouldn't last a day in your shoes. They're not where you are, and they're not going where you're going. So why are you listening? Detaching from the noise is not about ignoring the world. It's about knowing what deserves your attention. If you focus on what people say about you, you'll never have time to build yourself. If you spend your energy proving people wrong, you'll lose sight of proving yourself right. You don't need their approval. You don't need their validation. You need focus. Look at the most successful people. Do you think they sit around worrying about what others think? No, they're too busy creating, building, and evolving. They understand a simple truth. The louder the noise, the stronger the focus has to be. Because the moment you let the noise distract you, you slow down. And when you slow down, you fall off track. You have to learn to be untouchable. Someone doubts you, let them. Someone talks behind your back, let them. Someone tries to bring you down, let them try. None of it matters unless you react to it. You can't stop people from talking, but you can stop listening. You can't control their actions, but you can control your focus. At the end of the day, the people who talk the most usually achieve the least. Because while they're busy watching you, you're busy moving forward. And that's how you win. Not by arguing, not by proving a point, but by detaching from the noise and staying locked in on your mission. Stay on your mission while you're here. What's your mission? If you can't answer that instantly, you're already at a disadvantage. Because without a mission, everything becomes a distraction. Every opinion, every setback, every little inconvenience pulls you in a different direction. But when you have a mission, when you know exactly what you're working toward, none of that matters. Think about a pilot flying a plane. Does he argue with passengers? Does he get distracted by turbulence? No. He stays locked in on the destination. He knows his job isn't to entertain every voice in the cabin. His job is to land that plane. That's you. Your life is your flight, and your purpose is your destination. Every time you let yourself get distracted, you delay your landing. Most people never achieve anything great because they don't know where they're going. They wake up every day with no direction, so they let the world decide for them. Someone insults them, they spend the whole day thinking about it. Someone doubts them, they waste energy trying to prove them wrong. They react to everything because they have no bigger purpose pulling them forward. But when you have a mission, you move differently. You don't have time to argue. You don't have time to be bothered by petty things. You're too busy building, too busy improving, too busy becoming. And when you stay focused, something incredible happens. Distractions lose their power. People's opinions stop affecting you. Their negativity becomes background noise because you realize they're just standing on the sidelines while you're in the game. The key is to make your mission bigger than your emotions. Your feelings will try to slow you down. Fear will tell you to quit. Anger will tempt you to react. But when your purpose is strong enough, you don't listen. You don't stop to entertain drama. You don't waste time on things that won't matter a year from now. You keep going. The people who make the most noise are usually the ones doing the least. Let them talk. Let them doubt. Let them waste their time. You have a mission to accomplish. And the only thing that matters is staying on course. Develop an unshakable mindset. Somebody insults you, it's a test. Somebody doubts you, it's a lesson. Every challenge, every criticism, every setback, it's all training. Life isn't attacking you, it's sharpening you. The real question is, are you strong enough to handle it? Weak minds break under pressure. They take everything personally. They let one bad comment ruin their whole day. One rejection shatters their confidence. One failure makes them quit. But strong minds, they don't fold. They don't break. They take the pain, the setbacks, the negativity, and they use it. Because here's the truth. Your mindset determines everything. It's not about what happens to you, it's about how you respond. Two people can go through the same storm. One crumbles, the other grows. The difference isn't the storm. The difference is the mindset. Look at the most powerful people in the world. Do you think they got there by being soft? By getting offended? By letting small things shake them? No. They built an unshakable mindset. They developed thick skin. They learned how to take criticism without letting it destroy them. They stopped reacting to negativity and started using it as fuel. That's the level you need to reach, the level where nothing moves you, where you control your emotions instead of letting them control you, where people's opinions roll off you like water, where setbacks don't break you, they make you stronger. But that kind of mindset isn't given, it's earned. You earn it every time you refuse to react, every time you keep your cool when someone tries to provoke you, every time you walk away from drama instead of engaging, every time you get knocked down and get back up without complaining. See, most people think strength is about fighting back. But real strength is restraint. It's not letting small minds pull you into small problems. It's choosing peace over pettiness. It's having the discipline to stay focused when everything is trying to distract you. Once you develop an unshakable mindset, life changes. You stop getting triggered. You stop wasting energy on nonsense. You stop being controlled by external things. And when nothing can shake you, nothing can stop you. Own your peace. Your peace is your power. The moment you allow someone to disturb it, you've already lost, because if they can get under your skin, if they can make you react, if they can steal your focus, they control you. And the person who controls your emotions controls you. Most people don't protect their peace. They let anyone and anything invade their mind. They let toxic people drain them. They let negativity consume them. They entertain arguments that don't matter, engage in drama that adds nothing to their life, and give their energy to things that won't mean a thing in a year. And then they wonder why they feel drained, frustrated, and stuck. You have to start treating your peace like it's your most valuable asset, because it is. Your peace determines your focus determines your progress, and your progress determines your future. If you don't protect it, you'll never reach the level you're capable of. Look at the people who are truly successful, not just in money, but in life. They don't waste their energy. They don't engage in pointless debates. They don't explain themselves to people who aren't on their level. They move in silence, and they operate from a place of calm because they understand one thing. When your mind is clear, your decisions are powerful. But protecting your peace is a choice. It means cutting off toxic people, even if they're family. It means walking away from arguments that serve no purpose. It means letting go of the need to be right all the time. It means refusing to let anyone pull you into their chaos, because the second you step into their world of negativity, you lower yourself to their level. There's strength in not responding. There's power in silence. Not every battle needs to be fought. Not every comment deserves a reply. Sometimes the best thing you can do is keep walking, keep building, keep growing, because when you're locked in on your goals, when you're focused on where you're going, distractions become irrelevant. Your peace is your responsibility. Nobody can take it unless you give it away, so stop giving it away. Stop letting small things pull you into small battles. Stop handing your energy to people who don't deserve it. Guard your mind, protect your focus, and watch how unstoppable you become. So from this moment forward, you move differently, you talk differently. You carry yourself like someone who doesn't break, who doesn't fold, who doesn't get thrown off course by people who don't even matter. Let them talk, let them doubt, let them hate. You keep walking. Because lions don't bark back. They keep moving forward.